A lot of shops are struggling with finding technicians, right? Well, what if you could take some of the technicians that you have and train them to be better? Take that C-Tech and train them to be a B-Tech or more. Well, you can. So check out today's episode with Keith from BeTag Equipment and check out some of the options maybe you want to take advantage of in your shop.
Welcome to Body Bangin', your podcast for all things body. Auto body, that is. And now, introducing Body Bangin's host, Mickey Woods of Mickey Woods Marketing. Mickey is a former auto collision center owner and is now a marketing and business development expert to shops across the globe.
Hello, and welcome to today's episode of the Body Bangin' Podcast, where we are still featuring people from the Southeast Collision Conference. If you're catching this episode, make sure that you're watching the others because we have 4 weeks of daily episodes from the Southeast Collision Conference. Amazing. So let's first and foremost thank our sponsor, Lombard Equipment. Lombard Equipment not only sells you equipment, but they come to your shop to do training on that equipment and do training on the equipment you're buying. So not just in your shop watching, but you're training with them. So their description and contact information is in the show notes. Today, I want to introduce you all to a friend of mine. We recently actually hung out at CIC.
Yeah.
Keith Egan. Hello again, Keith.
Hello, Mickey. How are you? It's so nice to see you.
Yes, nice to see you again.
It's warmer. In California, it was cold. We sat out there.
It was so cold. We froze our butts off. Keith is with BeTag, and BeTag is actually an equipment manufacturer. And I think you guys are going to really love what Keith and his team are doing. So Keith, we'll just pop right into it. For those of you guys that don't know Keith, Keith has been in the industry for, he tells me 40 years, but I don't believe it because he looks too young.
It's true. After I said it, I counted it in my head. It's true.
Crazy. It's crazy. So tell me a little bit, because I see your posts and in talking to you at CIC, I know that you're really involved with students and helping with this technician shortage. So what is it that BeTag is doing in regards to that that's really helping shops right now?
Over the last couple of years, we've all had a lot of time to hide out in our home offices, or, we kind of shut ourselves down and didn't travel as much. And when you have all that time, you start thinking about what does your program look like? How can you improve? Where do you spend your time?
Right.
So with everything that went on in the last couple of years, we thought developing a technician development program that would help shops to overcome the shortage that we're experiencing in the industry would bring a lot of value. So that's just been our primary focus for the last couple of years. Since we've all come out of COVID, we've been working on developing content, building programs, and now we've come out of pilot, if you will. When we build things like this, we always put them in a pilot style program.
Right.
We want to make sure that the content's right and that, people walk away with the value that they're expecting, things like that. So we've been out of pilot for a while now. We really, really like the results and the response from some of our customers who have sent technicians and when they get them back in their shops, they find that their skill level and their quality and things like that have been greatly improved over a really short amount of time.
So now, are you taking technicians that are already working in shops and you're taking them and doing additional training?
We are taking technicians who are what we would consider an apprentice. The industry calls them a C-Tech. I don't think that's very, I don't think it's a great title.
Right.
So we use apprentice. We like that apprentice, or, the industry has B technicians. We call those journeymen. That's the space that we prefer to train in. Everybody's looking for an A-Tech. But the work mix doesn't really require A-Techs anymore. So we're focused on that apprentice and that journeyman space. And we're quite successful at it, to be quite frank. We're doing well with it.
So the benefit then is to take a technician in the shop that you want to develop further or potentially take to the next level. And do they then come out to your facility? What does that look like?
They do. We currently are running OPRS training, outer panel repair specialist in Northern California. We run it in Southern California. We're running it in Texas, soon to be in Atlanta, Georgia, and North Carolina.
Okay.
We run it at Rankin College. Rankin is in St. Louis. We expect in the short term to have a permanent home there. The BeTag will run a training facility out of there. So we're starting to work that horseshoe of the U.S. and open up more locations where we can provide training to shops and their technicians.
Now, is this only for customers that are buying your equipment?
No, that's the funny thing, is that if you don't have our equipment and you've made investments in other people's equipment, you do not need to buy ours. I mean, obviously, we're an equipment manufacturer. We'd like to sell our equipment.
Right.
But there's 2 points. One is you've already made the investment.
Right.
Actually, 3. 1, you've made the investment. 2, our training isn't built around our equipment. It's built around fundamentals of collision repair.
Nice.
So fundamentals carry over into whoever equipment you're using. It doesn't have to be ours.
Right.
Third one is we think they're more efficient if they have our equipment when they come out of training. So we think that efficiency level is higher because they've learned on our equipment, they're more familiar with it, things like that. And the quality is weighs in there a little bit too.
Right, right. So the benefit is for a shop to take a tech wanting to learn more, do more, potentially send them to this training so they don't have to do it themselves.
Right.
To develop them further. So that's amazing. And I know that you have your pulse on the finger of students as well. How does the student component weigh in on this at all? Because you and I talked a lot about students and those coming into the industry.
It does. I think that where we fall short is, there's that generational gap between, folks my age who own body shops and collision repair facilities. And then you have young techs coming in. And I think there's a little bit of disconnect. And I use the term all the time that I think the American dream is still alive.
Yeah.
I think young people who graduate high school or come out of college and don't find careers and have opportunity in collision repair want the same things I did when I graduated high school.
Totally.
They want a car, they want to date, they want to have a significant other.
Yeah.
They have the same dreams. They may want to get there in a different way, and may want you to ensure that, if they come to work for you, that you're going to kind of meet some of their goals too.
Right.
I think the dream's still alive.
I agree 100%, Keith, 100%. Now, another training that you guys do, which is interesting, is you do training with the manufacturers. So that doesn't necessarily help out a body shop per se, but it's definitely interesting.
It is. And it's part, like I work at BeTag, we all have jobs because we need revenue, we want to survive. But I work here because of culture.
Right.
And I like the culture of BeTag. So what was interesting to me when I came to work here is that the relationship, started, or, some of the relationships started with companies like BMW, where we actually train their trainers. We write content for them, and then they train, the collision repairs technicians. So we like that space. It's very comforting for us to be in the in that collision repair training space.
Yeah. So now if there are shops out there wanting to get training for their people, do you have a website that you go to? I want to put that in the description of the show notes so they can get a hold of you.
There is a website that you can find some good information there.
Okay.
You can contact us through there. Just do info@betagnorthamerica.com.
Okay.
You can send a request. You can reach out to myself or some of my other colleagues.
Okay.
We have a presence on social media. You can kind of find some info there. So, we're out there. Could we do a better job of it, Mickey? We could. We could do a better job of sending the message out.
Right.
A better job.
Yeah. And that's tough. That's, brother, I feel that. I feel that for my own business. I market other people, but when it comes to my own business, I feel like, what about me?
You're like the body shop owner who has a car and his always gets fixed last.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's talk real quick. This is a short little episode, but I did want to touch on the fact that you guys do sell equipment. So tell us about the type of equipment that you're manufacturing and selling at BeTag.
We manufacture in categories. So we manufacture small damage equipment from push rods to LUT and steel hot boxes for removing small damage. We want technicians to have that skill level and the shops. So small damage is a big segment that we play in. We make outer panel repair equipment for steel, aluminum. We're in the plastic business, so we sell equipment for repairing plastic on cars.
Okay.
Anything on the outside of that car, we develop equipment to repair.
The exterior. Okay. And then they can find that at the website as well, the different equipment. Okay, perfect. So I'll make sure if you're listening and you're interested and want to get some more information on the equipment, I'll put the website there, but they can also contact you directly, right, Keith?
They can. My email is keith@BeTagNorthAmerica.com.
Perfect.
So they can reach out to me directly, and we'll guide them in the right direction depending on what they're looking for from a training or equipment platform.
Yes. Yeah. I love that you offer both. I think that's a beautiful thing because you have the equipment and you definitely have the know-how, right? So it makes sense to marry those two together.
We have a need as an industry. We're really struggling.
Yeah.
So the age of the average tech keeps getting, it keeps growing. We have a serious need to find solutions for some of these problems. And that's the space we like to be in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Equipment's always that, it always follows. Like if you come to training and you want to buy some of our equipment on the back end, it's great.
Right.
But we lead through a training platform.
Yeah. You're leading with your heart to help, which I think is beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Keith, thank you. I appreciate you for taking your time. Keith's a hard guy to nail down because he travels a lot. He's in a lot of places. If you ever get the chance to talk with Keith, he's a fount of knowledge. I had a great time chatting with him. I
appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else you want to touch on before we wrap up?
No, I just wanted to thank you. And since this was sponsored by, the Southeastern Collision Conference, I want to thank them for, what they do in the industry as well.
Absolutely.
Those are, there's a lot of associations out there and they all do good things.
Yeah.
But those guys that are part of that association, they're like a feel-good association. They want to give back.
Yeah.
They'll bring a shop into their shop and go through and show them what they're doing. They don't hide anything. I mean, they're willing to help others on a one-on-one basis. And I think that's just a fantastic space. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for saying that. Definitely. The Southeast Collision Conference has been filled. I mean, I've had so many interviews with such great speakers, the vendors, the attendees have so many incredible takeaways. And it's really because the associations are powerful.
They are. They do a great job.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate that. Well, thank you, Keith, for coming on and chatting with us. Thank you all for listening. Make sure you're subscribing on YouTube, that you're following on all the podcast platforms. And again, thank you to Lombard Equipment for sponsoring this segment of the Body Bangin' Podcast. If you need equipment from Maine to Miami, you could give them a call. If you're not going to call BeTag, call Lombard.
Call us both. Call us both.
Talk to everybody. We will see you all next time. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We have some incredible topics and guests coming your way you will not want to miss. If you are watching on YouTube and don't want to miss the latest and greatest, you'll want to hit the bell after subscribing, so you will get a pop-up each time a video podcast goes live. To our devoted fans, would you mind paying it forward and sharing this little gem with someone else you think may benefit from it? Much love from all of us here at Body Bangin', all things auto body.